Hello, welcome everyone, I'm Bearer of Curses, and today I would like to show you a build guide to a build I got through the game with and think it's pretty overpowered. This build is made for ease of play, and it's really fun to use if you like to stay moving. To start out with, let's go over some numbers. Looking at our stats, we're going to focus on critical or physical critical, and we're also going to focus on evasion. The numbers by what we call end game for now are going to be around 18% for critical and 7% for evasion. That looks low right now, but once our buffs are applied, those numbers will change to 33% critical and 38% for evasion. This build is made so that you can keep getting higher and higher numbers as you get better gear and are able to enchant it. To achieve these numbers, I decided to only dump points into dexterity, as well as focus on getting the enchantment called Precise on the gear that I thought fit the build. This build plays really well with enemies throughout every level of the dungeon as long as you stay on your feet and have pretty tight gameplay. We are essentially playing a glass cannon build, but you should be able to take out any enemies with ease before they can touch you. Before we talk about gear, I would like to show you how the build is played. So to start out, right before you enter a fight or right after you enter, you should apply your buff skills. I consider these skills Devious Signet and the Leg Up skill to be buffs for this build. Leg Up is a pretty early skill you can get from the catacombs as a drop. Leg Up increases your evasion as well as your mobility by a lot. Pair the Leg Up skill with Devious Signet, which increases your evasion as well as your crit by 15% and your max stamina by 20. These two skills paired are really fun to use and let you slide around the dungeon and evade attacks with ease. After these buffs are applied, make sure to keep an eye on them to keep them active as you are doing the fights. While those are active, you should be letting enemies get into a group and using Spread Shot on them, which is a skill that allows you to shoot up to 7 arrows at once if you get the last perk. When enemies are chasing you, the skill Bomb Trap can be used to place a bomb that has a large radius of attack to do some damage while you are running away. The other skill you should max out for this build should be Ranged Mastery, which allows you to shoot 20% faster. Another good thing you can do with this build is use the charged attack with R, holding the bow, which rapid fires arrows at your target. You can get the Ranged Mastery as well as the Bomb Trap skill by choosing the Bandit class. The Bandit class can be chosen after obtaining the Bandit Tome from Sally. The gear used for this build are all enchanted with Precise and include the Glyph Rift Halo, which can be found in a chest drop from the Crescent Grove area, the Meshing Cape, which can be dropped from a chest in the Crescent Grove area, the Chainscale Chest, which can be purchased from Craig at the Wall of Stars, or dropped from a chest in the Crescent Grove area, the Fugefall Pants, which can be dropped by the Colossus boss fight, the Coldgeist Bow, which can be dropped by Lord Kaluz in the Sanctum Catacombs dungeon 12 to 18, and the Jade Trout Ring, which can drop from the Crescent Grove area or purchase from Craig at the Wall of Stars. Now, considering this is endgame gear, my recommendation for the start of the game till endgame on is just to find gear that scales with dex power as well as evasion and critical. You can easily obtain a lot of gear from the catacombs, pots, or chests, and even some really good gear from the Lord Kaluz boss. I took a clip of just shooting the dummies in Sanctum, and the numbers look pretty good. And you can see when the buffs are applied, the critical strike chance goes way up and deals a lot of damage. Some things you can do to improve the survivability of this build include dumping more points into health, which sacrifices the critical stat number, but can be worth it if you are struggling. You can also use other skills such as Sturdy, which I'm pretty sure is the auto parry skill, and that might help you with bosses such as Colossus. My only struggle with this build is fighting Colossus and consistently winning against him. Although I have beaten him, you have to perfectly parry his attacks and stay pretty up close to him to not get caught by his devastating slam attack. If you perfectly parry, it doesn't cost stamina, and you can block again if you need to. I would recommend using Bomb Trap and being far away from the Colossus when you have to fight his little minions at half health. After that, just stay close and parry him and stay on top of your buffs. Well, that will do it for this build guide, and I'm happy you watched. If you have any improvements to the build or questions about it, let me know in the comments, and leave a like if you think you will choose this build. I'm Bear of Curses, and I'll see you next time.